Morning, no, fucking player's handbook. Here. Chapter on magic and spells. Fabricate. We'll start at the top of the page. Fabricate transforms raw materials into finished items. That's a nice one. Overland flight. You fly at a speed of 40 feet and can hustle over long distances. Pass wall. Creates passage through wood or stone wall. Telekinesis. Moves object, attacks creatures, or hurls object or creature. Transmute mud to a rock. Transforms two 10-foot cubes per level. Transmute rock to mud. Transforms two 10-foot cubes per level. Universal. Permanency. Makes certain spells permanent. There's a X there, so that's a experience cost. Sixth level sorcerer wizard spells. Abjuration. Anti-magic field. Negates magic within 10 feet. Dispel magic greater. As dispel magic, but plus 20 on check. Globe of invulnerability. As lesser globe of invulnerability plus 4th level spell effects. Guards and wards. Array of magic effects protect area. Repulsion. Creatures can't approach you. Conjuration. Acid fog. Fog deals acid damage. Planar binding. As lesser planar binding, but up to 12 hit dice. Summon monster. 6. Cause extra planar creature to fight for you. Wall of iron. Material component. 30 HP per 4 levels can topple onto foes. Wall of iron. You can knock it off on your foes. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna think about these, about making like a little foam wall that looks like rock. And then if you cast pass wall on it, then you'll have to create a little doorway to it. Wall of iron. Get a big old block of iron. Analyze Dwemer. Focus. Reveals magical aspects of subject. Legend lore. Material and focus. Let you learn tales about a person, place, or thing. True seeing. Material component. Lets you see all things as they really are. Enchantment. Geese. Quest. Has lesser geese, plus it affects any creature. Heroism. Greater. Gives plus 4 bonus on attack rolls. Saves, skill checks, immunity to fear, temporary HP. Suggestion. Math. Has suggestion plus 1 subject per level. Symbol of persuasion. Material component. Triggered rune charms nearby creatures. Evocation. Chain lightning. 1d6 per level damage. 1 secondary bolt per level deals half damage. Contingency. Focus. Sets trigger condition for another spell. Okay, so cast that one and then cast the other spell. Forceful hand. Hand pushes creatures away. Freezing sphere. Freezes water or deals cold damage. Illusion. Mislead. Turn you invisible and creates illusory double. Permanent image. Includes sight, sound, and smell. Programmed image. Material component. As major image plus triggered by event. Shadow walk. Step into shadow to travel rapidly. Veil. Changes appearance. A group of creatures. Necromancy. Circle of death. Material component. Kills 1d4 level hit dice. Creatures. Yeah. Create undead. Material component. Creates ghouls, ghasts, mummies, or moruks. Eye bite. Target becomes panicked, sickened, and comatose. Symbol of fear. Material. Triggered rune. Panics nearby creatures. Undeath to death. Material component. Destroys 1d4 per level hit dice of undead. Max 20d4. Transmutation. Bear's endurance. Mass. As bear's endurance affects one subject per level. Bull strength. Mass. As bull strength affects one subject per level. Cat's grace. Mass. As cat's grace affects one subject per level. Control water. Raises or lowers bodies of water. Disintegrate. Makes one creature or object vanish. In a disturbing manner. Eagle splendor. Mass. As eagle splendor affects one subject per level. Flesh to stone. Turns subject creature into a statue. That's disturbing. Fox's cunning. Mass. As fox's cunning affects one subject per level. Mage's lucubration. Wizard only. Recalls a spell of 5th level or lower. Move earth. Digs trenches and builds hills. Owl's wisdom. Mass. As owl's wisdom affects one subject per level. Stone to flesh. Restores petrified creature. Transformation. Material focus. You'll gain combat bonuses. Transformation. You gain combat bonuses. Which combat bonuses? 7th level sorcerer wizard spells. Abjuration. Banishment. Banishes 2 hit dice per level of extraplanar creatures. Sequester. Subject is invisible to sight and scrying. Renders creature comatose. Spell turning. Reflect 1d4 plus 6 spell levels back at caster. So, sequester. You kidnap somebody. Sequestered spelled them, and they can't be found. Conjuration. Instant summons. Material. Prepared object appears in your hand. Mage's magnificent mansion. Focus. Door leads to extra dimensional mansion. Nice. I kind of used a little extra dimensional parlor in the bard quest. She had a little shoebox. Phase door. Create an invisible passage through wood or stone. Oh, nice. Plane shift. Focus. As many as 8 subjects travel to another plane. Summon monster 7. Cause extra planar creature to fight. Teleport greater. As teleport, but no range limit and no off-target arrival. Teleport object. As teleport, but affects a touched object. Divination. Arcane sight greater. As arcane sight, but also reveals magic effects on creatures and objects. Scrying greater. As scrying, but faster and younger. Vision. Material and experience cost. As legend lore, but quicker and strenuous. Vision. What is it? Conjuration. Okay. I can't find it. Alright, arcane sight greater. As arcane sight, but also reveals magic effects with creatures and objects. Scrying greater. It's scrying, but faster and longer. Vision, material, and experience cost as legend lore, but quicker and strenuous. I'm gonna find legend lore. I just flipping back a couple pages, but perhaps if I try to get I can find it. Enchantment. Hold person mass. As hold person, but all within 30 feet. Insanity. Subject suffers continuous confusion. Power word blind. Blinds creature with 200 HP or less. Symbol of stunning. Material component. Triggered rune stuns nearby creatures. Evocation. Delayed blast fireball. 1d6 per level. fire damage. You can postpone blast for 5 rounds. Force cage, material component. Cube or cage of force imprisons all inside. Grasping hand. Hand provides cover, pushes, or grapples. Mage's sword. Focus. Floating magic blade strikes opponents. Prismatic spray. Rays hit subjects with variety of effects. Illusion. Invisibility. Mask. As invisibility, but affects all in range. Project image. Illusory double can talk and cast spells. Whoa. Shadow conjuration greater. As shadow conjuration, but up to 6 level and 60% real. Simulacrum. Material and experience cost. Creates partially real double of a creature. Necromancy. Control undead. Undead don't attack you while under your command. Finger of Death. Kills one subject. That should cost. That should cost experience. Symbol of weakness. Material. Triggered rune weakens nearby creatures. Waves of exhaustion. Several targets become exhausted. Transmutation. Control weather. Changes weather in local area. Ethereal joint. You become ethereal for 1 round per level. Reverse gravity. Objects and creatures fall upward. Statue. Subject can become a statue at will. Interesting. Universal. Limited wish. Experience cost. Alters reality within spell limits. 8 level sorcerer wizard spells. Abjuration. Dimensional lock. Teleportation and interplanar travel. Blocked for 1 day per level. Mind blank. Subject is immune to mental, emotional, magic, and scrying. Prismatic wall. Wall's colors have array of effects. Protection from spells. Material focus. Confers +8 resistance bonus. Conjuration. Incendiary cloud. Cloud deals 4d6 fire damage per round. Maze. Traps subject in extra dimensional maze. Ooh, that sounds fun. Planar binding. Greater. Lesser planar binding, but up to 18 hit dice. Summon a monster. 8. Calls extra planar creature to fight me. Trap the soul. Material and focus. Imprison subject within gem. Put them in the soul gems. It's soul gems. Divination. Discern location. Reveals exact location of creature or object. Moment of prescience. You gain insight bonus on single attack roll, check, or save. Prying eyes. Greater. As prying eyes, but eyes have true seeing. Enchantment. Antipathy. Object or location affected by spell repels certain creatures. Binding. Material. Material component. Utilizes an array of techniques to imprison a creature. Charm monster. Mass. As charm monster, but all within 30 feet. Demand. As sending, plus you can send suggestion. Okay, so you send a demand. Irresistible dance. Forces subject to dance. Sounds like a bard's thing. Power word stun. Stunned creature with 150 HP or less. Symbol of insanity. Material. Triggered rune renders nearby creatures insane. Oh, okay, spell descriptions. Fine. Sympathy. Focus. Object or location attracts certain creatures. Evocation. Clenched fist. Large hand provides cover, pushes, or attacks your foes. I thought sympathy was in the enchantment. Sympathy is an enchantment. Object or location attracts certain creatures. Evocation. Clenched fist. Large hand provides cover, pushes, or attacks your foes. Polar ray. Ranged touch attack deals 1d6 per level cold damage. Shout. Greater. Devastating yell deals 10d6 sonic damage. Stuns creatures. Damages objects. Sunburst. Blinds all within 10 feet. Deals 6d6 damage. Illusion. Scintillating pattern. Twisting colors confuse, stun, or render unconscious. Screen. Illusion hides area from vision. Scrying. Shadow evocation greater. As shadow evocation, but up to 7th level and 60% real. Telekinetic sphere. As resilient sphere, but you move sphere telekinetically. Necromancy. Clone with material and focus. Duplicate awakens when original dies. Okay. Create greater undead. Create shadows, wraiths, specters, or devourers. Horrid wilting deals 1d6 level per damage, 1d6 per level damage within 30 feet. Symbol of death. Material. Triggered rune slays nearby creatures. Be careful where you put that. Transmutation. Iron body. Your body becomes living iron. Polymorph any object. That should be in bold, but it's not. Type. Changes any subject into anything else. Temporal stasis. Material. Put subject into suspended animation. I think a bunch more of these need to have material focus or experience cost. Put subject into suspended animation. 9th level sorcerer wizard spells. Abjuration. Freedom. Releases creature from imprisonment. Imprisonment. Entomb subject beneath the earth. Mage's disjunction. Dispels magic. Disenchants magic items. Prismatic sphere. As prismatic wall, but surrounds on all sides. Conjuration. Gate. Experience cost. Connects 2 planes for travel or summoning. Refuge. Material. Alters item to transport its possessor to you. Summon monster. 9. Calls extra plate on creature to fight for you. Teleportation circle. Material. Circle teleports any creature inside to designated spot. Divination. Foresight. 6th sense warns of impending danger. Enchantment. Dominate monster. As dominate person but any creature. Hold monster. Mass. As hold monster but all within 30 feet. Power word kill. Kills 1 creature with 100 HP or less. Evocation. Crushing hand. Large hand provides cover, pushes, or crushes your foes. Yeah, it says clenched fist. Crushing Hand. Meteor Swarm. 4 exploding spheres each deal 6d6 fire damage. Illusion. Shades. As Shadow Conjuration, but up to 8th level and 80% real. Weird. As Phantasmal Killer, but affects all within 30 feet. Necromancy. Astral Projection. Material component. Projects you and companions into astral plane. Energy Drain. Subject gains 2d4 negative levels. Soulbind. Focus. Traps newly dead soul to prevent resurrection. Dear. Are you trapping them in the soul gem? Wall of the Banshee. Wail of the Banshee. Wail of the Banshee. Kills 1 creature per level. Transmutation. Etherealness. Travel to ethereal plane with companions. Shape change. Focus. Transforms you into any creature and change forms once per round. Time stop. You act freely for 1d4 plus 1 rounds. Universal. Wish. Experience cost. As limited wish, but with fewer limits. Yeah. Okay, so we had the list of spells that was very redundant at times. And now here, on page 225, we get the spell descriptions. So why not just summon monster 1 through 9 and it's the same description. So why be so redundant? Why not list the spells and then put the level and then put who could use it? Anyway, like this apparently does. I just got through magic as spells, and here comes spell descriptions. Oh boy. Acid Arrow. Conjuration. Creation. Acid. Level. Sorcerer Wizard 2. Components VSMF. Casting time 1 standard action. Range long 400 feet plus 40 feet per level. Effect 1 arrow of acid. Duration 1 round plus 1 round per 3 levels. Saving throw none, spell resistance no. A magical arrow of acid springs from your hand and speeds to its target. You must succeed on a ranged touch attack to hit your target. The arrow deals 2d4 points of acid damage with no splash damage. For every 3 caster levels to a maximum of 18, the acid, unless somehow neutralized, lasts for another round, dealing another 2d4 points of damage in that round. Material component: powdered rhubarb leaf and an adder's stomach. Focus a dart. It says components V, S, M, and F. M, F. Well, that's material and focus. V and S mean. Doesn't say. Doesn't say what the acronyms are. Next, acid fog. Conjuration. Creation. Acid. Level. Sorcerer Wizard 6. Water 7. Water. Components V, S, M/D, F. What does that mean? Casting time 1 standard action. Range medium 100 feet plus 10 feet per level. Effect: fog spreads in 20-foot radius, 20 feet high. Sorcerer Wizard 6 and Water 7. Duration, 1 round per level. Saving throw none, spell resistance no. Acid fog creates a billowing mass of misty vapor similar to that produced by a solid fog spell. In addition to slowing creatures down, obscuring sight, this spell's vapor are highly acidic. Each round on your turn, starting when you cast the spell, the fog deals 2d6 points of acid damage to each creature and object within it. Arcane material component. A pinch of dried powdered peas combined with powdered animal hoof. Acid splash. Conjuration. Creation. Acid. Level sorcerer wizard 0. Component VS. Casting time 1 standard action. Range close 25 feet plus 5 foot per 2 levels. Effect 1 missile of acid. Duration instantaneous, saving throw none. Spell resistance no. You fire a small orb of acid at the target. You must succeed on a ranged touch attack to hit your target. The orb deals 1d3 points of acid damage. Aid. Enchantment. Compulsion. Mind affecting. Level. CLR. Cleric 2. Good 2. Luck 2. Components VSDF. Aid is a cleric spell. I read somewhere that there weren't spell descriptions in this book, but here they are. Component casting time 1 standard action. Range touch. Target living creature touched. Duration 1 minute per level. Saving throw. Yes. Spell resistance. Yes. Harmless. Aid grants the target a +1 morale bonus on attack rolls and saves against fear effects, plus temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus caster level, to a maximum of 1d8 plus 10 temporary hit points at caster level 10th. Airwalk. Transmutation. Air. Level. Air 4, Cleric 4, Druid 4, DRD. CLR. So Air 4, CLR, which is I think Cleric, and then DRD, which I think is Druid 4. Why not just put the whole word? It's literally just 2 more letters. There's room. Components. VSDF. Casting time 1 standard action. Range touch. Target creature. Gargantuan or smaller. Touched. Duration 10 minutes per level. Saving throw non-spell resistance. Yes. Harmless. The subject can tread on air as if walking on solid ground. Moving upward is similar to walking up a hill. The maximum upward or downward angle possible is 45 degrees at a rate equal to 1/2 the airwalker's normal speed. A strong wind, 21 plus miles per hour, can push the subject along or hold it back. At the end of its turn, each round, the wind blows the airwalker 5 feet for each 5 miles per hour of wind speed. The creature may be subject to additional penalties in exceptionally strong or turbulent winds, such as loss of control over movement or physical damage from being buffeted about. Should the spell duration expire while the subject is still aloft, the magic fails slowly. The subject floats downward 60 feet per round for 1d6 rounds. If it reaches the ground in that amount of time, it lands safely. If not, it falls the rest of the distance, taking 1d6 points of damage per 10 feet of fall. Since dispelling, page 226. Since dispelling a spell effectively ends, the subject also descends in this way if the airwalk spell is dispelled, but not if it is negated by an anti-magic field. You can cast airwalk on a specially trained mount so it can be ridden through the air. It's like, I guess that's how Venger rides his horse in the air. You can train a mount to move with the aid of airwalk. Counts as a trick. See handle animal skill. With 1 week of work and a DC 25 handle animal check. Venger knows handle animal, I guess. Alarm. Abjuration. Level. BRD 1. RGR 1. Sword Wiz 1. So bards, rangers, and sorcerers wizards. Components VSF/DF. Casting time 1 standard action. Range close 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels. Area 20-foot radius emanation centered on a point in space. Duration 2 hours per level. D. Saving throw none. Spell resistance null. Alarm sounds a mental or audible alarm each time a creature of tiny or larger size enters the warded area or touches it. A creature that speaks the password determined by you at the time of casting does not set off the alarm. You decide at the time of casting whether the alarm will be mental or audible. Mental alarm. A mental alarm alerts you and only you so long as you remain within 1 mile of the warded area. You note a single mental ping that awakens you from normal sleep but does not otherwise disturb concentration. A silent spell has no effect on a mental alarm. Okay, so imagine you have a little shop and you ward the door so that you could be in the back of the shop. Anybody who opens the door alerts you. If you're not. Every time I read one of these, I imagine like making it, drawing it, on the 3D model, making a little scene for it. So, audible alarm. An audible alarm produces the sound of a handbell, and anyone within 60 feet of the warded area can hear it clearly. Reduce the distance by 10 feet for each interposing closed door and by 20 feet for each substantial interposing wall. In quiet conditions, the ringing can be heard faintly as far as 180 feet away. The sound lasts for 1 round. Creatures within a silence spell cannot hear the ringing. Ethereal or astral creatures do not trigger the alarm. Alarm can be made permanent with a permanency spell. Arcane focus, a tiny bell, and a piece of very fine silver wire. Yeah, You have a place that might be a little like shop in a city. That would be the place to use that permanent audible and mental. Probably probably do both. Put an audible alarm on the door and a mental alarm on the doormat, or vice versa. Yeah, audible alarm on the doormat. The door itself gets the mental alarm. Yeah, that would work good. Align weapon. Transmutation. See text. Level cleric 2. Components VSDF still technique. Casting time. 1 standard action. Range. Touch. Target. Weapon. Touched or 50 projectiles, all of which must be in contact with each other at the time of casting. Duration 1 minute per level. Saving throw. Will negates harmless object. Spell resistance, yes, harmless object. Align weapon makes a weapon good, evil, lawful, or chaotic, as you choose. A weapon that is aligned can bypass the damage reduction of certain creatures. This spell has no effect on a weapon that already has an alignment. You can't cast this spell on a natural weapon such as an unarmed strike. When you make a weapon good, evil, lawful, or chaotic, aligned weapon is a good, evil, lawful, or chaotic spell, respectively. Yes, you're gonna have to wear a gauntlet. You want to hit the zombie. Make your gauntlet a good weapon, I guess. Alter self. Transmutation. Level Bard 2, Sorcerer Wizard 2. Components BS. Casting time 1 standard action. Range personal. Target U. Duration 10 minutes per level. D. Don't know what that means. You assume the form of a creature of the same type as your normal form. The new form must be within one size category of your normal size. The maximum hit dice of an assumed form is equal to your caster level, to a maximum of 5 hit dice at 5th level. You can change into a member of your own kind or even into yourself. What? You retain your own ability scores, your class level, hit points, alignment, base attack bonus, and base save bonuses all remain the same. You retain all supernatural and spell-like special attacks and qualities of your normal form except for those requiring a body part that the new form does not have. What? Such as a mouth for a breath weapon or eyes for a gaze attack. You keep all extraordinary special attacks and qualities derived from class levels, but you lose any from your normal form that are not derived from class levels. And I was reading those teleportation spells. I was thinking a city would absolutely have those set up, like a little area where you can go and be teleported to any other area. Assuming that teleportation circles didn't have to be too far from each other. It would probably cost a lot. A big old circle in the town, teleportation circle. Let's go. Like, I want to go to this town, or I want to go to this part of the town. Instead of phone booths. Those little teleportation alcoves. It might not have to be out in the wide open. It could be little niches and buildings. You step in and you get teleported. Open up the gate like an elevator and you get teleported to any part of the building. It could be a tall building, doesn't need stairs. You could have teleporters. You should still have stairs. But, it could be little niches inside the building. Like if you just want to teleport up to the top level, there you go. Well, if there was a building where if you just stepped in the door and there was a little area where you could be teleported to the other side of the building. Like say it's a large building, you just be teleported to the other side. Try not to step on the reverse teleporter, the opposite teleporter, and you get all disoriented. Yeah, magic should be more difficult and weird. But let's get back to reading. This is I digress. So, but you lose any from so you keep all extraordinary special attacks and qualities derived from class levels, but you lose any from your normal form that are not derived from class levels. If the new form is capable of speech, you can communicate normally. You retain any spellcasting ability you had in your original form, but the new form must be able to speak intelligibly, that is, speak a language, to use verbal components, and must have limbs capable of fine manipulation to use somatic or material components. So you can just disguise yourself a little bit and pretend. Hey, have you seen this bard? No, man. I'm Donald Trump. You acquire the physical qualities of the new. You acquire the physical qualities of the new form while retaining your own mind. Physical qualities include natural size, mundane movement capabilities such as burrowing, climbing, walking, swimming, and flight with wings, to a maximum speed of 120 feet for flying or 60 feet for non-flying movement. Natural armor bonus, natural weapons such as claws, bite, and so on, racial skill bonuses, racial bonus feats, and any gross physical quality of presence or absence of wings, number of extremities, and so forth. A body with extra limbs does not allow you to make more attacks or more advantageous to weapon attacks than normal. Okay, transform yourself into a spider is what I'm seeing here. You do not gain any extraordinary special attacks or special qualities not noted above. Under physical qualities such as dark vision, low light vision, blind sense, blind sight, fast healing, regeneration, scent, and so forth. You do not gain any supernatural special attacks, special qualities, or special like abilities of the new form. Your creature type and subtype, if any, remain the same regardless of your new form. You cannot take the form of any creature with a template. What? Even if that template doesn't change the creature type or subtype. What does that mean? You can freely designate the new form's minor physical qualities such as hair color, hair texture, and skin color within the normal ranges for a creature of that kind. The new form's significant physical qualities such as height, weight, and gender are also under your control, but they must fall within the norms for the new form's kind. You are effectively disguised as an average member of the new form's race. If you use this spell to create a disguise, you get a +10 bonus on your disguise check. When the change occurs, your equipment, if any, either remains worn or held by the new form, if it is capable of wearing or holding the item, or melds into the new form and become non-functional. When you revert to your true forms, any objects previously melded into the new form reappear in the same location on your body they previously occupied and are once again functional. Any new items you wore in the assumed form and can't wear in your normal form fall off and land at your feet. Any that you could wear in either form or carry in a body part common to both forms at the time of reversion are still held in the same way. Put it in your mouth, I guess. Any part of the body or piece of equipment that is separated from the whole reverts to its true form. So if you transform into a spider and put something in your mouth, and the enemy cuts off one of your spider legs, then you lose a finger. Frightening thoughts. Anyway, spells like that should be really difficult to cast. Because I don't like this whole melded into the form thing. I think if you change into like a seal, then you gotta take off your clothes first, or they'll get all ripped up. You gotta put all your stuff in a box. You can like carry around a box of holding. Analyze the whammer. The whammer. Divination. Part 6, Sorcerer. Wizard 6. Components, BSF. Casting time, 1 standard action. Range, close, 25 foot plus 5 foot per 2 levels. Targets 1 object or creature per caster level. Duration, 1 round per level. Saving throw, none, or will negates. See text, spell resistance, no. You discern all spells and magical properties present in a number of creatures or objects. Each round, you may examine a single creature or object that you can see as a free action. In the case of a magic item, you learn its functions, activate its functions if appropriate, and how many charges are left if it uses charges. In the case of an object or creature with active spells cast upon it, you learn each spell, its effect, and its caster level. An attended object may attempt a will save to resist this effect if its holder so desires. If the save succeeds, you learn nothing about the object except what you can discern by looking at it. An object that makes its save cannot be affected by any other. Analyze the Whammer spells for 24 hours. Object. Focus. A tiny lens of ruby or sapphire set in a small golden loop. The gemstone must be worth at least 1,500 gold pieces. Cool. Hmm. I'd love to have a little, you know, draw a little story where, the artisan crafts such a thing. Make a little 3D scene and draw a comic. Animal growth. Transmutation. Druid 5, Ranger 4, Sorcerer 5. Components BS. Casting time, 1 standard action. Range medium, 100 feet plus 10 feet per level. 100 feet. Targets up to 1 animal, gargantuan or smaller, per 2 levels, no 2 of which can be more than 30 feet apart. Spell resistance, yes. A number of animals grow to twice their normal size and 8 times their normal weight. This alteration changes each animal's size category to the next largest, grants it a +8 size bonus to strength and a +4 size bonus to constitution, and thus an extra 2 hit points per hit dice, and imposes a -2 size penalty to dexterity. The creature's existing natural armor bonus increases by 2. The size change also affects the animal's modifier to armor class and okay, so the size change also affects the animal's modifier to armor class and attack rolls and its base damage. Armor class attack rolls and its base damage. The animal's space and reach change as appropriate to the new size, but its speed does not change. The spell also grants each subject damage reduction 10 per magic and a +4 resistance bonus on saving throws. Damage reduction. And if insufficient room is available for the desired growth, the creature attains the maximum possible size and may make a strength check using its increased strength to burst any enclosures in the process. If it fails, it is constrained without harm by the materials enclosing it. The spell cannot be used to crush a creature by increasing its size. All equipment worn or carried by an animal is similarly enlarged by the spell, though this change has no effect on the magical properties of any such equipment. Oh man. Okay. Enlarge your horse. The normal size horse. It doesn't affect its speed, but it does affect its strength. Just have a big old horse. Carry more stuff. All equipment worn or carried by an animal is enlarged by the spell. So take all the stuff off of your horse, make it bigger, and then put all the stuff back on. Any enlarged item that leaves the enlarged creature's possession instantly returns to its normal size. The spell gives no means of command or influence over the enlarged animals. Multiple magical effects that increase size do not stack. So, okay, so taking something off makes it normal sized again. But what about putting it back on? Would it become enlarged? Hope not, because then you can just put normal sized things on the enlarged horse, and it would stay normal size. Because if those things weren't there when the spell was cast, and they'd probably stay the same size, and then you could just make your horse bigger. Carry the things. It has strength bonuses. Animal messenger. Enchantment, compulsion, mind affecting. Level Bard 2, Druid 2, Ranger 1. Components VSM. Casting time, 1 standard action. Range, close, 25 feet plus 5 feet for 2 levels. Target, 1 tiny animal. Duration, 1 day per level. Saving throw, none. See text. Spell resistance, yes. You compel a tiny animal to go to a spot you designate. The most common use for this spell is to get an animal to carry a message to your allies. The animal cannot be one tamed or trained by someone else, including such creatures as familiars and animal companions. Using some type of food desirable to the animal as a lure, you call the animal to you. It advances and awaits your bidding. You can mentally impress on the animal a certain place, well known to you, or an obvious landmark. The directions must be simple because the animal depends on your knowledge and can't find a destination on its own. You can attach some small item or note to the messenger. The animal then goes to the designated location and waits there until the duration of the spell expires, whereupon it resumes its normal activities. During this period of waiting, the messenger allows others to approach it and remove any scroll or token it carries. The intended recipient gains no special ability to communicate with the animal or read any attached message if it's written in a language he or she doesn't know. Material component, a morsel of food the animal likes. Animal shapes. Transmutation. Level animal 7 druid 8. Components PSD. Casting time, 1 standard action. Range, close 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels. Targets, up to 1 willing creature per level, all within 30 feet of each other. Duration, 1 hour per level. Saving throw, non-sea text. Spell resistance, yes, harmless. As polymorph, except you polymorph up to 1 willing creature per caster level into an animal of your choice. The spell has no effect on unwilling creatures. All creatures must take the same kind of animal form. Recipients remain in the animal form until the spell expires or until you dismiss it for all recipients. In addition, an individual subject may choose to resume its normal form as a 4-round action. Doing so ends the spell for that subject alone. The maximum hit dice of an assumed form is equal to the subject's hit dice for your caster level, whichever is lower, to a maximum of 20 hit dice at 20th level. Animal trance. Enchantment. Compulsion. Mind effect. Sonic. Level. Bard 2, Druid 2. Components. BS. Casting time, 1 standard action. Range, close, 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels. Targets. Animals are magical beasts with intelligence 1 or 2. Duration, concentration. Saving throw, will negate, see text. Spell resistance, yes. Your swaying motions and music or singing or chanting compel animals and magical beasts to do nothing but watch you. He has a bard and a druid. Okay. Compel animals and magical beasts to do nothing but watch you. Only a creature with an intelligence score of 1 or 2 can be fascinated by this spell. Roll 2d6 to determine the total number of hit dice worth of creatures that you fascinate. The closest targets are selected first until no more targets within range can be affected. A magical beast, dire animal, or an animal trained to attack or guard is allowed a saving throw. An animal not trained to attack or guard is not. So imagine a camp somewhere where there's animals that are guarding it. The bard and the druid come up and try to trance the animals. The animals that are trained get a saving throw. Animals that are not trained get entranced. Trained to guard, so the horses could be entranced probably. Guard dogs may or may not be. They may start barking. What happens then? The orcs come out. Or enemy humanoid. Cold. quite chill here. Traps. Animate dead. Necromancy. Evil. Law. Cleric 3. Death 3. Sorcerer Wizard 4. Components. BSM. Casting time. 1 standard action. Ranged touch. Targets 1 or more corpses. Touched. Duration. Instantaneous. Saving throws. None. Spell resistance. No. The spell turns the bones or bodies of dead creatures into undead skeletons or zombies that follow your spoken commands. The undead can follow you, or they can remain in an area and attack any creature, or just a specific kind of creature entering the place. They remain animated until they are destroyed. A destroyed skeleton or zombie can't be animated again. Regardless of the type of undead you create with this spell, you can't create more hit dice of undead than twice your cast. The Desecrate spell doubles this limit. Oh, spooky graveyard, perfect for Halloween. Spooky graveyard, Avenger. Get some skeletons devoured. You must try to destroy them. The undead you create remain under your control indefinitely, no matter how many times you use this spell. However, you can control only 4 hit dice worth of undead creatures per casting level. If you exceed this number, all the newly created creatures fall under your control, and any excess undead from previous castings become uncontrolled. You choose which creatures are released. Hmm. You choose. The DM should choose. If you are a cleric, any undead you might command by virtue of your power to command or rebuke undead do not count toward the limit. Skeleton. A skeleton can be created only from a mostly intact corpse or skeleton. The corpse must have bones. If a skeleton is made from a corpse, the flesh falls off the bones. Zombies. A zombie can be created only from a most a true anatomy. Material component. So I guess you can't make like freakish corpse zombies. Material component. You must place a black onyx gem worth at least 25 gold pieces per hit die of the undead into the mouth or eye socket of each corpse you intend to animate. That's costly. That's good. The magic of the spell turns these gems into worthless, burned out shells. Interesting. Just you just run up to a corpse and animate it. You gotta place a gem in its eye socket first. And then that gem is made worthless. So it's very costly, which is really good for people who don't want the mouth or eyes. Animate objects. Transmutation. Bard 6, Chaos 6, Cleric 6, Components BS. Casting time 1 standard action. I still think that the spell list is a bit redundant. Clean it up. So, range medium, 100 feet plus 10 foot per level. Animated objects. Bards, chaos, and clerics. One small object per caster level. Duration of 1 round per level. Saving throw none. Spell resistance no. You imbue inanimate objects with mobility and a semblance of life. Become animate objects. then immediately attacks whomever or whatever you initially designate. Animated object can be any non-magical material. You may animate one small or smaller object or an equivalent number of larger objects per caster level. A medium object counts as two small or smaller objects. A large object is 4, a huge object is 8, a gargantuan object is 16, and a colossal object as 32. You can change the designated target or targets as a move action as if directing an active spell. The spell cannot animate objects carried or worn by a creature. Animate objects can be made permanent with a permanency spell. So what sort of objects are you? Can the sword just start floating and swinging around? Animate plants. Transmutation. Level Druid 7 and Plant 7. Plant Cleric. Components. B. Casting time on standard action. Range close 25 foot plus 5 foot for 2 levels. Targets one large plant per 3 caster levels or all plants within range. Text. Duration 1 round per level or 1 hour per level. See text. Saving throw none. Spell resistance no. You imbue inanimate plants. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Plants are animate. Hold on. Plants are animate. They're animate objects. They move around with the light. They talk to each other and they can play music. See, there's a fellow who attaches electrodes and electric keyboards to plants and they play them. You imbue animate plants with mobility and a semblance. The plants are alive. Hold on. They're not inanimate and they are alive. Unless they're, hunks of dead plant, I guess. Each animated plant then immediately attacks whomever or whatever you initially designate as though it were an animated object of the appropriate size category. You may animate one large or smaller plant or an equivalent number of larger plants per 3 caster levels. A huge plant counts as 2 large or smaller plants. A gargantuan plant counts as 4, and a colossal plant as 8. You can change the designated target or targets as a move action, as if directing an active spell. Use the statistics for animated objects, except that plants smaller than large usually don't have hardness. Animated plants cannot affect plant creatures, nor does it affect non-living vegetable material. Okay, so yeah, you can't animate the cabbage that's in the fridge. How about this one? Entangle. Alternatively, you may imbue all plants within range with a degree of mobility which allows them to entwine around creatures in the area. This usage of the spell duplicates the effect of an entangled spell. Spell resistance does not keep creatures from being entangled. This effect lasts for 1 hour per caster level. Okay, you can animate the plants and have them entangled. The grapevines are gonna get you. If the orcs were to come into my yard and I cast entangle on the grapevines and on the blackberry vines. Maybe even on the pumpkin and watermelon vines. What about even privet hedges? Holly bush. I think my oak trees count as gargantuan. They are pretty big. There are baby ones around the hedges. Oh yeah, there's like hackberry trees and hawthorn trees. Cast entangle on that and you fuck. They got thorns. Pear trees. The mulberry tree don't have thorns, but the mulberry tree got long limbs. Hawthorn tree though, it's got thorns. It'll entangle you. Review all plants with range to a degree, with a degree of mobility, which allows them to entwine around creatures in the area. This usage of the spell duplicates the effect of an entangled spell. Spell resistance does not keep creatures from being entangled. This effect lasts 1 hour per caster. Animate rope. Transmutation. Level. Bard 1. Sorcerer Wizard 1. Components BS. Casting time. 1 standard action. Range medium. 100 feet plus 10 feet per level. Target 1 rope-like object. Length up to 50 feet plus 5 feet per level. Text. You can get a hempen rope or a silk rope in the equipment. Duration 1 round per level. Saving throw non-spell resistance. No. You can animate a non-living rope-like object. The maximum length assumes a rope with a 1-inch diameter. Reduce the maximum length by 50% for every additional inch of thickness, and increase it by 50% for each reduction of the rope's diameter by half. The possible commands are coil, form a neat coiled stack, coil and knot, loop, loop and knot, tie and knot, and the opposites of all of the above. Uncoil, unknot, unloop. You can give 1 command each round as a move action, as if directing an active spell. Okay, I'm gonna need that spell. What is it? Bard? Sorcerer and Wizard. Should be a ranger spell. command the rope to turn itself into a big net with the fishing knots. Oh, I would. I'd command yarn of like 9mm thickness. And command all of my yarn to become a net. It knit itself. Oh goodness, the D&D world must be full of knitted clothes. Just command the yarn with the spell to knit itself. Okay, this is now canon. Knits are widespread because of the spell. Just commanding her to knit itself. All right, yeah, definitely gonna have to make something like that. Little character sitting there with some yarn, using the knitting needles as a spell focus. Commands the yarn to knit itself. Yeah. Oh look, can you animate the broom to sweep for you? Can you just command? You command individual particles of dust to be annoying. But yeah, command the broom to sweep for you. Dustpan to scoop it up. Oh man, they also have an anti-gravity spell. So just lift up all the furniture. Each one by one so that any objects underneath it are still on the floor and you could just pick them up, sweep them up, and them to dance themselves into the toy box. Float all the toys out of the toy box. Have them rearrange themselves neatly on their way back in. Oh, goodness. Hockety, pockety, walkety, whack. Merlin animates all his objects to neatly fit into his bag of holding. He shrinks them up too while he's at it. Guess that saves his bag from getting too heavy. So you animate a non-living rope-like object. The maximum length assumes a rope with a 1-inch diameter. Use yarn, you could have it knit itself. The rope, you can give one command each round as a move action, as if directing an active spell. The rope can enwrap only a creature or an object within 1 foot of it. Enwrap the knitting needles and knit yourself. It does not snake outward, so it must be thrown near the intended target. Doing so requires a successful ranged touch attack roll. Range increment 10 feet. A typical 1-inch diameter hempen rope has 2 hit points. Armor class 10 and requires a DC 23 strength check to burst it. The rope does not deal damage, but it can be used as a trip line or cause a single opponent that fails a reflex saving throw to become entangled. A creature capable of spellcasting that is bound by this spell must make a DC 15 concentration check to cast the spell. An entangled creature can slip free with a DC 20 escape artist check. The rope itself and any knots tied in it are not magical. This spell grants a +2 bonus on any used rope checks you make when using the transmuted rope. The spell cannot animate objects carried or worn by a creature. So you can't unknit someone's clothes while they're wearing it. Knitted blankets galore. Okay, so there's my little world. There's a shop where the little bard sits there. In the little shop. And they cast animate. Command the yarn to hit itself while they play music. They make for some good business, that. They commanded a 1-inch thick rope that's 50 feet long to knit itself into a blanket. That'd be a heavy ass net. That would be a very good way to trap something, like make a trap. I mean, yeah, you could knot a normal size net, big old square gaps in it, or you could command it to double crochet itself. You commanded a rope to double crochet itself into a big old blanket. I need to do some knitting. Go out and do my laundry. Can't help but think about knitting. Really, if you are going to, let's say the bards are needing to stand back and trap somebody, entangle somebody, and they had the rope, and then it commanded to knit itself, and then it made a big old net with a with double crochet, make a big old double crochet net. 50 feet, 20-foot wide blanket. And then levitated it and then dropped it on your foe when they come across. Cast entangle on it. That'd be pretty heavy. Just entangled by itself, that's one thing, but crocheted, they'd have a hard time getting out of that. I said I'm gonna have to let's see, get some string to make D&D rope. Anti-life shell. Abjuration. Level animal 6, cleric 6, druid 6. Components VSDF. Casting time 1 round. Range 10 feet. Area 10-foot radius. Emanation centered on you. Duration 10 minutes per level B. Saving throw non-spell resistance. Yes. You bring into being a mobile hemispherical energy field that prevents the entrance of most types of living creatures. And that's how you get rid of mosquitoes in D&D. The effect hedges out animals, aberrations, dragons, fae, giants, humanoids, magical beasts, monstrous humanoids, oozes, plants, and vermin, but not constructs, elementals, outsiders, or undead. Yeah, this is how you get rid of mosquitoes in D&D. If you like shit. Hedges out animals, aberrations, dragons, fae, giants, humanoids, magical beasts, monsters, humanoids, oozes, plants, and vermin. You kill all the grass at your feet, that's the problem. This spell may be used only defensively, not aggressively. Forcing an abjuration barrier against creatures. Forcing an abjuration barrier against creatures. The spell keeps at bay, collapses the barrier. Sounds against mosquitoes. Kill all the grass at your feet. Forcing an abjuration barrier against creatures. But the spell keeps at bay, collapses the barrier. Anti-magic field, abjuration, level, cleric 8, mage 6, protection 6, sorcerer, wizard 6. Components BS, MDF. Casting time 1 standard action. Range 10 feet. Area 10-foot radius. Emanation centered on you. Duration 10 minutes. Level. Saving throw none. Spell resistance. See text. An invisible barrier surrounds you and moves with you. The space within this barrier is impervious to most magical effects, including spells, spell-like abilities, and supernatural abilities. Likewise, it prevents the functioning of any magic items or spells within its confines. An anti-magic field suppresses any spell or magical effect used within, brought into, or cast into the area, but does not dispel. Time spent within an anti-magic field counts against the suppressed spell's duration. Summoned creatures of any type and incorporeal undead blink out if they enter the anti-magic field. They reappear in the same spot once the field goes away. Time spent winked out counts normally against the duration of the conjuration that is maintaining the creature. If you cast an anti-magic field in an area occupied by a summoned creature that has spell resistance, you must make a caster level check, 1d20 plus caster level, against the creature's spell resistance to make it wink out. The effects of instantaneous conjurations are not affected by an anti-magic field because the conjuration itself is no longer in effect, only its result. So you can't conjure something within the spell, but you can once it's conjured, as long as you're outside the spell, it remains. A normal creature could enter the area, as can normal missiles. Furthermore, while a magic sword does not function magically within the area, it's still a sword, and masterwork sword at that. The spell has no effect on golems and other constructs that are imbued with magic during their creation process, and are thereafter self-supporting unless they have been summoned, in which case they are treated like any other summoned creatures. Elementals, corporeal undead, outsiders are likewise unaffected unless summoned. These creatures' spell-like or supernatural abilities, however, may be temporarily nullified by the field. The spell magic does not remove the field. Two or more anti-magic fields sharing any of the same space have no effect on each other. Certain spells such as Wall of Force, Prismatic Sphere, and Prismatic Wall remain unaffected by anti-magic fields. See the individual spells. Artifacts and deities are unaffected by mortal magic such as this. Should a creature be larger than the area enclosed by the barrier, any part of it that lies outside the barrier is unaffected by the field. Arcane material component, a pinch of powdered iron or iron filings. Antipathy, enchantment, compulsion, mind affecting. Level Druid 9, Sorcerer Wizard 8. Components VSMDF. Casting time 1 hour. Range close 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels. Target one location up to 10-foot cube level or one object. Duration 2 hours per level. The saving throw will partial. Spell resistance yes. You can cause an object or location to emanate magical vibrations that repel either a specific kind of intelligent creature or creatures of a particular alignment, such as defined by you. The kind of creatures to be affected must be named specifically. A creature subtype is not specific enough. To be repelled must be named. Creatures of the designated kind or alignment feel an overpowering urge to leave the area or avoid the affected item. A compulsion forces them to abandon the area or item, shunning it and never willingly returning to it while the spell is in effect. A creature that makes a successful saving throw can stay in the area or can stay in the area or touch the item, but feels uncomfortable doing so. This distracting discomfort reduces the creature's dexterity score by 4 points. Antipathy counters and dispels sympathy. Arcane material component, a lump of alum soaked in vinegar. Anti-plant shell, abjuration. Level Druid 4, components VSDF. Casting time 1 standard action. Range 10 feet. Area 10 feet. Radius, emanation centered on you. Duration 10 minutes per level. The anti-plant shell spell creates an invisible, mobile barrier that keeps all creatures within the shell protected from attacks by plant creatures or animated plants. As with many abjuration spells, forcing the barrier against creatures that the spell keeps at bay strains and collapses the field. Arcane Eye, Divination, Scrying. Level, Sorcerer Wizard 4. Components of VSM. Casting time 10 minutes. Range unlimited. Effect. Magical sensor. Duration 1 minute per level. Saving throw. No. Spells. No. Create an invisible magical sensor that sends you visual information. You can create the arcane eye at any point you can see, but it can then travel outside your line of sight without hindrance. An arcane eye travels at 30 feet per round, 300 feet per minute. If viewing an area ahead as a human would, primarily looking at the floor, or 10 feet per round, 100 feet per minute, if examining the ceiling and walls as well as the floor ahead. It sees exactly as you would see if you were there. The eye can travel in any direction as long as the spell lasts. Solid barriers block its passage, but it can pass through a hole or space as small as 1 inch in diameter. The eye can't enter another plane of existence, even through a gate or similar magical portal. It can only travel within the plane. You must concentrate to use an arcane eye. If you do not concentrate, the eye is inert until you again concentrate. I'm actually kind of like falling asleep in here. So we're leaving off at Arcane Lock on page 232. I'm kind of tired. Thanks for watching. Been almost 2 hours. See you next time.